Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do your February the 18th spiritual principle a day in a meditation. I hope you're having a beautiful morning. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let's get into the meditation. Okay. It seems like I'm taking long pauses. I'm still with you, just having a coughing fit in the background. So if it seems like I'm taking a long pause, that's what's going on. And oftentimes I'm not getting enough time to give you warning. The meditation is entitled Making Room for Humility. Oh, it sounds beautiful. Understanding that we are not unique is a good indication of humility. That comes from It Works, Step 7. The disease of addiction turns us into masters of self-deception. A distorted view of the world might convince us that we're smarter than the average addict. When we're new to Narcotics Anonymous, this outlook can keep us separate from everyone in the room and lead us right back out the door. The pain of stubbornly holding on to our perceived uniqueness can keep us stuck in isolation. As one member found, eventually the pain was great enough, and it didn't matter how different I thought I was from everyone else. I was an addict, and if I didn't want to die, I had to start doing some work. Step 7 shows us that in surrendering the defect of denial, we can let go of arrogance and pride, creating room for humility and identification within the fellowship. We can see our humility grow when we can sit in a meeting and naturally hear the similarities rather than our differences. When we trust a loving higher power to remove our shortcomings, we begin to make space for our true selves and develop a sense of our place within an NA community. Regardless of how long we have been clean, how old we were when we got here, or our career status, we remain teachable. The gift of humility allows us to learn how to ask for help and take suggestions. Sometimes, even with years clean, we can convince ourselves that our case is different, or we are the exception. Calling our sponsors, regularly attending meetings, and continuing to practice spiritual principles remind us that we share the bond of addiction, as well as a common solution in NA. Whether we think we are nowhere near that bad or the most flawed person in the room, we eventually find a place where we can be right-sized by continuing to work the steps. Today, I will be grateful for freedom from the sharp edges of my uniqueness and find opportunities to identify with my fellow addicts. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Please, moment of silence now. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a powerful meditation, making room for humility. We're talking about step 7 here. We humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. That's amazing to me because so often so often we think that our shortcomings are things that we can, you know, take notes on, study codependency, study anger management. We think we can remove these shortcomings from ourselves. My part in the piece happens in step 6. It happens in step 7 with me humbly asking for help. So in step 6, I've become entirely ready for these defects of characters to be removed from me. Like, I'm tired of myself. I'm tired of acting out on this particular character defect. I'm tired of it, and I'm tired of how it is affecting my relationships with others. I'm tired of how other people are, you can see the pain in their eyes. I'm tired of, I'm tired. Period. I don't need it as a survival instinct or a survival skill. I don't need to be able to manipulate so well that I could steal from my own mama and she not even know I'm stealing from. I don't need that. I don't need to have her look me in my eye and ask me, I thought you was gonna pay me that back. That was 20 years ago. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need to be dependent on other people like that, manipulate other people like that. I don't need that. Entirely ready to have it removed. And then the shortcoming that I'm humbly asking, right, the God of my understanding to remove would be all of the other stuff that feeds into it. Now, some people would say, okay, so if a person is manipulative, is it the lying, the cheating, and the stealing, the tricking, are those the shortcomings? On one level, on one layer of the onion, totally. But on another layer, a deeper layer, is fear. Fear versus faith. Fear of not having or being abandoned, being rejected. And so now I have to create this narrative in order to get what it is I think I need to be okay, to not be abandoned, to not be rejected, to not have lack. I have to create something in order to get what I think I need so I don't have to feel that. In that instance, manipulation is actually a shortcoming in action that is birthed out of fear. On another level, you may only get to the manipulation and find that the other shortcomings, right? The other shortcomings feel like they're birthed out of manipulation. They're just behaviors that go right along with it. And if I want to go a little bit further, past fear is pride, worried about what I will look like with or without being rejected or not being rejected, being denied or not being denied, worried about myself, self-centeredness, self-obsession. Actually, not even real pride, false pride. So we can take this as far and as deep as you want to go, right? But the great thing about it is no matter how far you go with this step 7, the key is that you are started on it. And when you get started on it and you stay humble in it, as a result of your humility, being able to ask for help, there are some amazing things that will happen in your life. You will find that the gift of humility allows you to learn how to ask for help and take suggestions, which is the opposite of being self sufficient, thinking you know everything, and having so much pride. Well, the basic text tells us self sufficiency is a lie. So, pride is a part of that. On the other hand, humility is the opposite end of that spectrum. And by far the more positive, by far the more positive one. And it has more positive fruit, more healthy fruit. I want you to look at this when you have time. Again, I want you to listen to this podcast again. And I want for you to be thinking about how you personally can make room for humility. How you can go from thinking you are so unique to understanding that you have more similarities with us here in Narcotics Anonymous than just a few. And how you can allow those similarities, right? That awareness to fuel your recovery. That's what I wish for you, that you would become grateful for the freedom from those sharp edges of your uniqueness and find opportunities to identify with fellow addicts. And as you identify with fellow addicts and you find your place in this community of recovery, the broader your base, the higher the point of freedom you will reach, or you will have the potential for reaching, as long as you continue to remain humble. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you. I want for February the 18th to be the most beautiful, beautiful day that you've ever lived. And to have that on purpose is amazing. And do it humbly. Remember, humility is a gift, and it can open up so many opportunities for you. Be well. Talk to you soon.